Alright, what's going on, guys? Games back again. I have a video with Tactic Angel, and this is me in the Shikaku, and he's in the Fletcher. This is probably the funniest game that, that I have had in a carrier in this entire time. And what is funny is this game was played pretty late, and we were both kind of tired. And you'll see me kind of just dawdling in this game, and we're both just kind of out of it. I believe we were talking about some history or something like that. We were talking about like Japanese AA and American AA. Just we were just talking, and so there's a couple moments in this game where I will point out where I was just like, oh crap, there's someone here. So we had a good time in this game. And I just have to mention the past couple videos that I've been posting. You guys have blown up in the likes. I believe the last one I posted, the tier list for the BBs, we had over 350 likes, and that is definitely a channel record. And also like over like 4,000 views, and that is absolutely ridiculous. So guys, I honestly can't thank you enough. During this time right now for me, it's been somewhat difficult for me to get the time to play and make videos. And you guys have just absolutely smashed it, so I really appreciate that. I know this game might not be as popular as that kind of topic, but I will say if I think maybe 100 likes, if we could hit 100 likes for this, that would be awesome. So I'm gonna shut up about that. Anyways, let's get to the gameplay. Not that it's anything too interesting. So since the Lexington got buffed, Lexington compared to the Shikaku is, in my opinion, just the easier choice. Even before Lexington got buffed, I think that the Lexington was already more competitive, in my opinion. There's a little bit of RNG with the bombs, but the bombs are meant for battleships. They do tons of damage. I mean, they can do tons of damage to cruisers as well. Tons of damage, very high fire rate or fire chance, and you can actually hit DDs a little bit more consistently, just because you are dropping 6 bombs. And again, I'm here talking to Tactic. I'm like, I have no idea where this DD is until he's over there. So we turn around. We don't want to get caught into Ochika's AA for too long. Not that it would really matter, but we also need to get some sort of angle on this guy, and for some reason this guy actually decides to come out here. So we probably should have gotten a better strike off. I'm still getting used to torping DDs, but we do get a nice double hit on that guy. And keep that guy in mind, because you won't see that guy for another 3 minutes or so. And the next time that he does pop up, it will be quite a funny time, as I believe you guys saw in the thumbnail that I made. So this, all in all, was a very weird game. Now, am I a carrier god? No, but this game was super nice because I was able to do at least some significant damage to destroyers, and or at least prohibit them from doing destroyer things. Here we have an Akatsuki versus a Benson, and for some odd reason, the Benson does not win this fight. I don't know what it is about Benson players, but whenever you see a friendly Benson on your team, you might as well just... that guy is dead. That player is already removed from the match. He's gone. He's already dead. So he gets torpedoed there from the Akatsuki, which is very unfortunate because that guy still has a decent bit of health. I can't remember if I torpedo him here. And you see, I've just been kind of steering off in this space, and I didn't realize that it was at this point in time I was like, oh, there's a Bismarck about 10 kilometers away from me, and I was like, all right, okay, let's see what we can do. He doesn't maneuver very well at all. I don't think he really tries, so he just tries to force it. Shikaku torpedoes are things that you really don't want to take, so if you can avoid taking all 3, definitely try to. We only hit him with 2 there, still 10k damage, and again, I was like, okay, I'm actually going to get spotted here. Should have taken my planes back. I'm not sure why. Actually, no, I do get this strike off here. I'm still figuring out how long my planes can last. Because the AA seems to be very, very inconsistent in terms of like killing. Sometimes you'll lose planes really quickly, and sometimes you'll be fine. And this was one of those times where it was fine. Cleaned up the kill on the Bismarck, and the only thing that was left over here is going to be that Z-23 again. And we're obviously way out of position. The biggest thing with carriers is if you want to have a impactful game, you have to be somewhat close, because the closer you are to the action, the faster you can cycle planes, and the faster you can start getting people off damage con. Because realistically, if you are flying 15-20 kilometers for a target and you put them on a flood and then they use their damage con, by the time you're back there, their damage con probably only has like 20 seconds or so. So you're not getting the best kind of, you did get a perma-fire, but a perma-fire for a minute is a lot better than a perma-fire for 20 seconds. And same thing for a flood as well. So finding a nice place in between being close but not in danger, but the worst carrier players are going to be the ones that are in the back, because they effectively just won't be able to do anything. Another weird torch up here, we get super lucky, but again, he's not dead. We've hit 4 torpedoes on this guy. 4. 4 torpedoes on this guy, and like literally so many of them in the back. So damage saturation has come into play here, and our Bismarck is actually turning around, which is super sad. I'm not too sure what he's doing here. I'm getting pretty desperate. I'm trying to line up, since you have the Shikaku and the Lexington, pretty much think of, you kind of have to envision the 3 lines of which the torpedoes are going to make here. And I was trying to line up the left one on him there, but we actually get a close quarters expert. Oh man, and when I tell you I was dying laughing, I think Tactic was talking about the Battle of Samar, and I just completely blanked, and I was like, oh my god. And he was like, what? What's going on? So at this point in time, I mean, I'm pretty confident that this game is over. Tactic basically has full health, and I effectively have all the planes that I need. And the ending of this game kind of just came out of nowhere. I really wasn't expecting much from this. We were having some pretty boring games overall, and that's kind of just how it is with carriers, in my opinion. The matches are either very one-sided stomps, or they're very passive. Rarely do you ever have a really competitive game, and it's kind of sad because it's made Tier 7 even worse than what it was. There has been multiple nights where me and a couple buddies will be playing, and every single game we're just like, this is terrible. Like, what even is this? Like, what are we supposed to enjoy here? Like, there's no content in these games. There's nothing for us to do here. It's basically just like sail into the cap circle. Everything's dead. Everyone finishes with 1500 base XP, and it's a stomp or whatever. And it's just not very fun sometimes, even more so than it used to be. Going for the blind drop here because I had actually been pretty lucky, and I should have gone to the left a little bit more because his AA was shooting a little bit more to the left, so getting a little bit cocky there. We actually played like 3 or 4, 5 maybe games before this, and I had actually gotten some pretty interesting torpedo strikes, and here I should have just recalled my planes. Honestly, at this point I was dropping them, so I figured I might as well freak him out because Tactic was shooting at him. But I wasn't doing anything with that strike. You really don't want to come on to destroyers when they're coming towards you, especially with torpedo planes. It just makes it a little bit more difficult to line things up, and there's nothing worse than actually hitting somebody with a torpedo but not actually doing any damage to them because the torpedo doesn't arm. So Uh, yeah, and again, we're doing the same thing. Could have had some better angles, but honestly, I'm kind of banking on these guys not paying attention too much. And he actually does a fairly nice dodge here. So, and I think it was at this time where, again, we were talking and I was like, oh, wait, that's me. That is me, like 3 kilometers away from this guy. So I want to get this strike off, and basically what's happening with this Benson here is he is probably assuming that I am going one way, and is at this point where I have to depend on my secondaries yet again for this video. There is not much I can do here. Basically, all I'm trying to do is dodge torpedoes. I know I can kill this guy. If I dodge torpedoes, there's no way that this Benson can actually kill me. My secondaries are not the best, but they're not the worst either. You know, especially when a Benson has like less than 2,000 health. We get the epic dodge of the century. Riveting gameplay here. I brake hard because I assume he was having a second set to go, and I'm honestly not too sure where his second set is, and I'm not too sure what he's doing, but we keep getting some secondary hits. Eventually, we oh my god, we get the second close quarters expert in a carrier versus a destroyer. 6 secondary hits, by the way. And at this point in time, I was just completely dying. I mean, this game was just so unbelievably dumb. So, yeah, basically the next thing we're going to do here is just kind of trying to go find the carrier. It's really... Carriers are really weird, guys. I just don't think this game was built for it. I really don't. You know, I don't think the hardest thing is I don't think the player base will ever get used to it. You know, because the player base, excuse me, was already struggling with the 3 other classes, and you know, it was frustrating enough to have people not understand that. And carriers as a whole are effectively another dimension. So, I don't know. We will see how it goes, but the really scary thing is that Lexington and Shikaku and the rest of the carriers were out for about 6 or 7 days, and then on day 9 we got a message, or they announced that they will be buffing the Lexington to basically have torpedoes that are very similar to Shikaku. So if you think about it, we had no test data from the tier 7s, and they were out for 9 days before we were officially told that they were getting a buff, or the tier 7 Lexington was getting a buff, which means that they didn't just decide that day. They Wargaming probably knew that they were going to buff Lexington a couple days before that. So what is really kind of terrifying is that they buffed carriers after essentially a week. And we had things like Bismarck secondaries, you know, the 105mm guns not being able to pin properly. We've had spawns in the game that are just completely game breaking and just stupid for over a year and a half, and carriers were buffed within 6 days, 7 days. That's kind of scary, because now the question is, if Lexington starts overperforming, does that mean that Shikaku will get buffed as well? And we do take the final torp strike off on this guy. Time would run out. I would not get it, so we needed it to fall. That is a Kraken Unleashed with 2 close quarters experts. What an absolute dumb game. Sorry for the rambling at the end there, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, thank you so much for the constant support for the channel. You guys are, believe it or not, making a kid's dream come true. And I really appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all in the next one. Hope y'all enjoyed. Peace.